launches new services and changes the price structure for deliveries to restaurants. So what they're planning on doing is offering a bunch of different services as opposed to like I guess the one set service now where it's like 30% or whatever for the restaurant. But now it says it is launching these services and it's 2.9% commission accepted on orders directly from the restaurant's website or social media accounts, and to have them fulfilled with the Uber Eats platform via their delivery drivers, their Uber Eats delivery drivers. So my neighbor is doing the snow removal out there. Anyways, the second offering, it lets diners browse, order, and pay for food via Uber Eats that they will eat at the restaurant, which is charged a 3% commission, which is kind of a little bit tacky to me, I think. Yeah, because if you're going to a restaurant to sit down, why not just pay them directly, I think, as opposed to paying the middleman in there. You're just adding an unnecessary middleman, I guess you would say. So this is the part that gets interesting. It says here the lowest, so they're going to offer tiers of service too as well. The lowest tier of the pricing structure helps restaurants process and fulfill orders, but charges customers standard delivery fees. With higher tiers slash those fees paid by the diners and give the restaurants more visibility on Uber Eats. So basically, I'm guessing like if you're like in the range of 30% or whatever, the end customer, the customer receiving the food is not going to be charged these delivery fees, right? But the lower tiers will. So my only problem with this, like if you're driving for one of these platforms, I have to wonder what they're how that's going to affect the driver in terms of tips, because arguably if you're pinning all the fees onto the customers who are eating the food, you're going to be looking at the potential for like the customer to perceive that as like, oh yeah, that's all paying to the driver, right? And like they won't get tipped as much. So that's one concern, I guess you would say, if you're driving. Like I said, this isn't a long-term strategy. Like I've said before, this isn't a job that, you know, one would expect to keep for like a full-time thing. Like if you're doing this full-time, I feel for you, but at the same point in time, understand that this is kind of meant to be, or better suited as a temporary job for this reason, and that, you know, things could change at the quick of a moment, I guess you would say. And they're not really obligated to you in any sort of way, right? So, yeah, so I think this will affect the driver's tip. And as you know, Uber Eats recently has been writing a lot of the fee onto the tip, I guess you would say. So, like, you'll see orders that'll be like maybe paying less than $5, like, you know, $3, $4, $5 in around that range in Toronto. And then it's like, I guess they want the customer to tip on top of that. So it's just like, yeah, they're obviously riding on the potential of a tip. Yeah, so if you're mounting all the fee onto the customers, what you're going to get is drivers get tipped less. Now, what's also interesting is that they've also made some sort of statement saying that they want to have the minimum wage raised in Ontario. By the way, there's no minimum wage except for quote-unquote gig workers in Ontario. It's that Uber is trying to get ahead of the game and say like, hey, we want to have a minimum wage for these drivers or riders and pay them at least $18. So like, I don't know how they're arriving at those numbers. And then they're saying that they want the rest of the province to kind of follow in with that, right? So it's just like, you know, you raise the minimum wage, and I think it's because they want to like eliminate the competition, basically. So yeah, like I don't know what their planned strategy is with this, but like I'm just saying, like if you pin all the fees onto the customers, the end customer, you're gonna have a problem with drivers not getting tipped and, you know, not getting paid appropriately. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this, but that's exactly what's happening here in Toronto in terms of Uber Eats and their fee structure to restaurants.